A former African National Congress member and African Radical Economic Transformation Alliance leader, Carl Niehaus, who was booted from the ANC in December 2022 and later formed his party, has joined the Economic Freedom Fighters, that's the EFF. This comes as South Africa is preparing for provincial and presidential election next year. Now, speaking during a media briefing on Thursday, Niehaus confirmed that his party will not register to contest the upcoming 2024 general elections. Niehaus also called on former President Jacob Zuma not to campaign for the ANC ahead of the elections. Now, to further discuss this, I am being joined by former African National Congress member and African Radical Economic Transformation Alliance leader, Carl Niehaus. Thank you so much for joining me. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
All right, Carl, so can you explain your decision to join the opposition EFF after being a prominent member of the ANC? What were your primary factors or the primary factors that led to your decision?
I want to thank you for the very good short introduction, which shows the history that I've been part of, and that was a history of being involved in the liberation struggle in South Africa for 43 years. Now, as you said in the introduction, last year I was expelled from the African National Congress because I was opposed to what I believe to be the sell-out policies of the ANC under President Cyril Ramaphosa. We then launched the African Radical Economic Transformation Alliance. And that alliance said right from its inception, when it was formed on the 23rd of February of this year, that our main aim is to work in order to unite all the left progressive political parties in South Africa. And there's quite a few of them. So since that launch, I've been engaged in consultations with all those political parties, and I made one call throughout the year. Let us unite, because as a divided group, we will not be able to challenge the African National Congress. But as a united force, when we look at the statistics, when we look at the opinion polls, we stand a very, very good chance to actually win the upcoming elections and create a new progressive government. We are now a few months away from the national elections, and it is time for us to act, to put our money where our mouths are. And it is on that basis that my party, which existed until yesterday, the African Radical Economic Transformation Alliance, said, we have engaged and we have discussed the issue of unity with all the other parties, including the EFF. And we've come to the conclusion that we need to unite behind an existing strong left party with administrative capacity. And the only party that can do that, the only party that has that capacity, is the Economic Freedom Fighters. And on that basis, after engagement with the Commander-in-Chief of the EFF, Comrade Julius Malema, and also the Deputy President of the EFF, Comrade Floyd Shivambu, we agreed to hold a press conference yesterday where we said that we are dissolving the African Radical Economic Transformation Alliance in order for it, with all our members, so we join as a party, to join with the Economic Freedom Fighters. And then I made a call in that press conference on all the other political parties on the left to also join us under the logo of the Economic Freedom Fighters and create the possibility of the majority of progressive South Africans to have one choice on the ballot paper, to vote, to put their cross behind the logo of the Economic Freedom Fighters, because
right,
all of us belong and believe in the same ideals of fundamental, radical economic transformation.
All right, Carl, you
And
did.
it was in that context that I also called President Jacob Zuma, the former president of South Africa, to join us, not to start with new parties, further splinter groups, but to join this growing unity under the economic freedom fighters. And
All right, Carl, let's talk about your call for, former President Jacob Zuma not to campaign for the ANC. What specific concerns or reasons do you have behind this stance?
President Zuma has been treated terribly by the African National Congress. As you know, he had been in and out of court. His former comrades have really betrayed him. They have also betrayed the radical economic transformation principles that President Zuma stood for. So there is really no reason for President Zuma to support people who have abused him, who have rejected him, and who have rejected the progressive economic policy program that he tried to implement during his 9 years as president of South Africa. We now provide a platform under the economic freedom fighters that can implement the radical economic policy program that President Zuma had stood for. We will also provide an opportunity for President Zuma to be recognized for the legacy that he left in South Africa. But what is important is that he mustn't allow his long-standing loyalty to the African National Congress to lead him to a point where he once again campaigned for the African National Congress, especially in the province of KwaZulu-Natal, which is his home province. President Zuma has got massive support. He must bring that support to a united left progressive front that can truly challenge the African National Congress and will recognize him also for the leadership position that he had played in the past as president, give him the respect that he deserves, and he can make a massive contribution by not campaigning for the ANC and calling for all the progressive forces to unite under the banner of the economic freedom fighters. Because once we are united, I'm absolutely convinced that we will be able to beat the ANC in the upcoming elections, and that we will be able to form a new, progressive, and radical economic transformatory government after the elections of 2024.
All right, well, thank you so much, Carl, for joining me on the news to discuss further on this. We appreciate you for your time.
Thank you so much, and thanks for giving me the opportunity.